Is Facebook's Libra coin going to be the end of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, or is it going to be the biggest thing we've ever seen? I'm going to answer those questions, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So today I have a special episode. Now, if you are new to the channel, on Thursdays we talk about investing, typically investing into cryptocurrencies, which I believe are the most explosive asset class. On Tuesdays we talk about success, mindset, business, things like that. But today I'm bringing you a special episode because I want to cover what's going on with Facebook Libra and what's going on with the governments around the world. I've been getting so many messages from you guys in the last 24 hours. I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do another video on this and just answer it once and for all. So let's get right into it. Now, first of all, what I'd say is Facebook bad for crypto? Is Facebook good for crypto? I don't look at the world in black and white like that, and I don't think that you should either. Now, I've said this many times before, it's not black and white. Things are good, things are better, things are worse, and things like that. So we kind of want to break it down. The word better on itself is just subjective. Better for what? Is it good for what, right? So I believe it's good and it's bad. And I want to break that down for you, and I want to show you where I think it's going. So make sure you stay to the end. But first of all, before we really dig into that, I want to just take a second and think about the progress that we've made for a minute. I mean, think about this. Just a couple of years ago, cryptocurrency was a fraud. It was a scam. It was only used by criminals. It was never going anywhere. It was going to zero. All these things, right? Just a couple years ago. And today, we have the biggest companies in the world not just getting into it, they've been getting in for about a year now. Not just getting in, but launching their own. I mean, imagine how massive this is. Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan was saying that it was a fraud. He would fire anybody that got into cryptocurrencies, and yet JPM now has their own coin. Now Facebook is launching their own cryptocurrency. I mean, think about how massive that is, how fast and how far we've came. Now, I always say over and over, be patient, because I hear people just expecting way too much, way too soon. New technologies take time. The internet's taken 20, 30 years to get to where it is today, and we're only a few years into this, so it takes time. But when you look backwards, man, we've covered a lot of ground in a couple years, all right? Now, that setting the stage, let's go ahead and jump into this and what I think. So, first of all, is Facebook Libra a cryptocurrency? That's a question I hear a lot, and I would say, technically speaking, yes, it is. It uses a blockchain, it's cryptographically secured, and it's a currency. So it's cryptographically secured, and it's a currency. It's cryptocurrency. So yes, it is. It is a crypto technically. However, when you compare it to PayPal or you compare it to USD, it's super crypto, right? PayPal is not crypto at all, and neither is USD, obviously. But if you compare it to Bitcoin, or some privacy coins like Monero, Zcash, or you compare it to like some DAO coins like a DAI coin, for example. It's not as crypto as those, but technically speaking, it is a cryptocurrency. Now, let's get into the question. So is it good or is it bad? And like I said, it's not black or white. It's good and bad. There's good and bad. It depends on what you're looking for. Depends on what good is to you. Depends on what bad is to you. So first of all, I'd say it's not great, but it's not horrible. Maybe that's what I'd say. There's lots of different attributes. And first of all, we have, 2,400 coins. Part of the reason why we have 2,400 coins is because they're all different. They all have different attributes about certain things. And so does Facebook Libra coin. It's way different than Bitcoin. It's way different than a privacy coin. It has different attributes. So really, in order to know if it's good or bad, it depends on what attributes you're trying to optimize for, all right? So what do I mean by that? So if I want privacy, if I want to be able to conduct transactions without anybody knowing what's going on, then I need a privacy coin. I need Monero, Zencash, Zcash, things like that. If that's what I consider to be good, then I want a coin that optimizes for that. Now, Libra coin is not going to be that coin. It's not going to be private. But if I want a coin that is going to be the most stable, that I believe is going to accrue the most value, that's going to have the best security, well then that's probably going to be Bitcoin, right? If I want a project that is going to enable decentralized finance and smart contracts, well then maybe Ethereum, right? So every project has its own set of attributes, and you have to understand that they're all optimizing for different things. So that being said, let's get in to see what Facebook Libra is optimizing for, and that will kind of help us decide if it's good and if it's bad, all right? All right, so the good, first thing is that it's a massive shift. So part of this entire Bitcoin cryptocurrency movement is about taking power from the banks who have a centralized monopoly over money control, money creation, and they all profit from that. It's taking the power away from that and bringing their sovereignty back to us. So I can store my value and nobody can take it, manipulate it, seize it, steal it. And if I want to transfer to you, nobody can stop it, block it, prevent it, right? That's what we're trying to do. And Facebook is a massive shift that's helping that. So what we've seen in this massive shift, trying to wrestle control from these centralized banks, is we're starting to see, and it really started earlier with technology, and it really started with the internet days, and you've probably heard the term fintech, and that's financial technology. And so with the internet, with technology, we've already started to see technology start to pull some finance away from the bank. And really, cryptocurrencies just really expands on that, really speeds it up. And money is becoming a product, all right? And so money right now is just money and it's a currency, but money is becoming a product of all these financial companies, or all these technology companies, I should say. And so now all these technology companies are wanting to take finance, take finance and money away from the banks. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the shift of finance being in New York all of a sudden to the finance being in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. We're starting to see this shift globally. And you know, it's a big move. This is a massive shift. I mean, there's nothing bigger than shifting the way the world's money works. I mean, that's the biggest shift that you can really get to. And so it's going to take time, and we're going to see lots of projects come and try, and we're going to see lots of projects come and fail, right? It's just the way it is. I mean, we're talking about this monumental shift, and people are going to try, people are going to fail. And we just, like I talked about before, what are we optimizing for? We just have to understand that there's all types of different assets, different projects, different assets, and they're all for different markets. So that's a good thing, is that I believe that Facebook Libra is going to accelerate this shift of getting people out of the banks and into a fintech or a decentralized finance way. Get them away from the banks. So that's a good thing. Now, as far as Libra, what are they optimizing for? Are they optimizing for privacy? Like I said, heck no, right? What are they optimizing for? Well, they're optimizing for a couple things. So one, they're optimizing for mass market appeal, right? We hear over and over, like, when is mass market adoption coming? When will Bitcoin be used all the time? Well, they're optimizing for mass market appeal. They have like a third of the world's population is on Facebook, a few billion users, and they're instantly gonna have the ability to conduct business in cryptocurrency. And you have almost every business out there is on Facebook as well. So all of a sudden you have merchant adoption. So now you have retail users and merchants instantly on there. So they're trying to optimize for mass market appeal. They are not optimizing for ideologies, right? And what do I mean by ideologies? So like I'm talking about like Bitcoin, a lot of true believers in Bitcoin, myself included, got onto Bitcoin because of the ideological beliefs around sovereignty, privacy, having something that's permissionless, borderless, censorship resistant, all those things. And that's why I love Bitcoin. Now, a lot of other cryptocurrencies don't have that, and neither does Libra. That's not something they're trying to optimize for. So is it good? Well, if those are what you consider to be good characters, well, it doesn't have that. So you might consider it bad. But they're just not trying to optimize for that. They want to appeal to mass market, and the mass market, unfortunately, doesn't carry those ideologies. Now, if you're watching this channel, you know that that's my mission. I want to give those ideologies to everybody. I want everyone to understand what's really going on. But the fact is today, the mass market doesn't have those ideologies. And so that's what Libra's optimizing for. I believe that Libra could be the largest bridge towards adoption because it can automatically pull all these people in and start getting to use this. It's going to get them out of the banks like we talked about, start using cryptocurrencies. And then my hope is that they learn Well, wait, what are these other ones? Oh, there's other coins, and well, what are the features of those? What are they optimizing for? Oh, I didn't even know about privacy. I didn't even know about censorship resistant. Well, now that I know, I'll switch over, right? So hopefully that's what we'll see. Libra is built on a blockchain, and so a lot of people say that it's not, but it is. It's built on a blockchain. It's built on, technically, what you want to know, it's called hot stuff BFT, which is the Byzantine fault tolerance. That's how they achieve consensus. And most of it appears to be open source. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive into the technical aspects of it. There's been plenty of good articles. As a matter of fact, I'll link in the show notes to the best technical breakdown by Jameson Lopp, and I'll link to that, and you can read through that. Most of it's open source, which means that most of it should be able to be built on, all right? That means that other people can come and build applications and things on top of this blockchain. Now, that's to be determined. They say that's going to happen, but there's like a roadmap to achieving this, and hopefully that comes true. That'd be really cool if people could start to build on it, depending on how hard that base layer is. Now, it's also a stable coin, so is that good or bad? Well, it's good that it's pegged to an asset, so it should be relatively stable. So people criticize Bitcoin because it's volatile, the price is going up and down. If you're an investor, that's good because we want the price to go up and we can use that volatility to make more money. But Facebook Libra is a stable coin. But it's a little bit different than most stable coins, where most stable coins are pegged to the US dollar. So it's just basically 1-to-1 with the dollar. It moves exactly with the dollar. What they want to do is they want to peg to a basket of currencies where it's not tied to a single government currency, and they'll also tie it to bonds. So I believe this could be superior to USD. USD has lost 95% of its value, 95% of its purchasing power. We know that all fiats go to zero eventually. And so being pegged to an asset going to zero isn't necessarily so good, but it is a stable coin, and they're going to diversify that through other currencies and assets. And then decentralization. So like I said, Libra has like this roadmap of things that they want to do. One of them is starting as a centralized company, but working towards decentralization. Now, I said earlier that it depends on the things that you're trying to optimize for, and hopefully they say they want to move to decentralization. We'll see how much they can achieve and what decentralization really means to them. It sounds like a really good plan, but it's to be determined. We'll just have to wait and see how that roadmap plays out. Now, the other thing I would say that it is good for the world. It is good for the world because I believe that we need to reach the world, the 2 billion adults that are not banked. They need to get into the financial system to get ahead in life. They need access to financial services. They need microloans, things like that, if they're going to get ahead. And right now we have 2 billion adults unbanked, and I believe that this can reach those people and get those people into financial services right away. It's also getting people out of the banks. Right now, the money transmission business, sending money from one country to the next, is trillions of dollars a year. And if you've ever tried to send money that way, whether it's Western Union or MoneyGram or whatever, it's super expensive, like crazy expensive how much that is. And so this can take that power back from them, get people out of the banks, and allow people to conduct business peer-to-peer without having to pay all those high fees, without having to deal with all the middlemen that are involved. And so I think it's good for the world. I think it's a good thing that they're doing. Now, the bad. Let's get into the bad. So the bad is that it's not decentralized. Now, I talked about earlier, they do have a roadmap to become decentralized, but right now it's not. It's owned, it's controlled, right? There's a place we can do it. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second because we're already starting to see the problem with it being owned and controlled. But it's not decentralized, it's owned and controlled. You can't expect privacy because of that. It's all gonna be monitored. It's not borderless or permissionless. So with Bitcoin, it's borderless and permissionless. That means it's permissionless. Anybody can join the Bitcoin blockchain at any given time. I can download a wallet, I can start a node, I can start doing transactions. Any country, it's borderless and without permission. But Facebook Libra is not. I have to have permission to have a node. As a matter of fact, they sold them for, I think, $10 million per node. If you want to jump on a Bitcoin node for $300, you can go get a Casa nodal and you can start running your own node. You could build one out of a Raspberry Pi for like $100. So with $100, I could start a Bitcoin node and do my own transactions. But for Facebook Libra, I need $10 million. So it's definitely not permissionless, and it's definitely not borderless. And because of all those reasons, the government can stop it, block it, and prevent it. So if those are things you are trying to optimize for, it's bad, and I consider it bad because of those things. Now, also we have, it's also bad because of the peg. Now, I did say that it was good because of the peg, but it's also bad because of the peg. It's bad because of the peg because of what it's pegged to. It's pegged to government currencies. And like I said, all fiat currencies are gonna go to zero. We know that. And so why do we want to be pegged to something that's just continuing to lose money? It's also pegged to government bonds, which is debt. I don't want to hold the government currency, and I don't want to hold the government debt either. I wouldn't buy those, and I don't want my currency pegged to that. Like I said, it's what we want to avoid. The whole point is to get out of the dollar, which is losing value, out of the bonds, and into something that's not an inflating asset, but a deflating asset, something that's going up in value. Definitely not stable, right? We want to park our money where hopefully it can earn value and not just be stable with a devaluing asset. That's not what we want. It's also could be really bad in a sense where it steals people away from finding Bitcoin. Now, like I said, most people, the mass market, don't share the ideologies that some of the true believers like myself have. And so what I think can happen is that it can suck these people in, and maybe they never find Bitcoin. Maybe they never understand why they need to move to Bitcoin. It could also paint Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in a really bad light. It could make them look bad. If Facebook, which is now on the world stage under the spotlight, if they don't do things right, it could paint this really bad shadow across the industry. That being said, we know that in order to wrestle control from the banks, in order to wrestle control from the central banks, the governments, etc., it's going to be a fight. They are not going to take this easily. I always say, man, grab a bag of popcorn and let's watch the show because it is going to be a fight, and we're already starting to see that. Libra announced yesterday that they're going to launch, and within 12 hours, we have governments around the world already calling to stop them. They haven't even launched yet. They just announced it, and within hours, we have governments around the world calling to stop them. And so we know that Libra is going to push the boundaries for growth. And so, like I said, it's really hard to go. It's really hard for a company like Bitcoin that's decentralized to go have this fight. If regulators want to bring the fight to Bitcoin, who is going to stand up for it? There's no company there. But Facebook has a company. Facebook is a company that has enormous power. Facebook is a company that has enormous money. And if anybody is going to take this fight, they're going to have the fight. Now, they have a good chance because of the deep war chest of funds they have, because of their legal teams they have. However, the results of this could have implications on the market. If they are able to be stopped, blocked, prevented, there's regulations put in place that cease it, it could spill over into other cryptocurrencies. Now, no government can stop Bitcoin. No, it can't be done. But they could prevent you from owning it, prevent you from transacting in it, and things like that. And so it's going to be interesting to see what that fight is. And like I said, the fight already started less than 12 hours after Facebook announcing that they're launching it. The fight already started. We saw in the US, the lawmakers asked Facebook to halt, is what they said. It was Maxine Waters, head of the Financial Services Committee, basically said that Facebook needs to halt. Please halt. They need to stop. What they did say, though, which has some merit, they said that Facebook has violated data already. They've violated our protecting the data. They violated users' privacy. So, like, they haven't been very trustworthy. And of course, I see that. I don't really trust them. And, I don't know if you do, but basically that's what these lawmakers are saying is like, hey, you haven't been very trustworthy. And so I don't know if we should be expanding into money yet. You're already too massive and too powerful is what they said. We saw that the same in Germany, the same in France, in India. So all these countries are chiming in. The Bank of England came in. They said that they're probably going to need the most strict regulations it's ever seen, but they did say that we need to keep an open mind. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, like I said, England, the US, France, Germany, India, they're all coming out already wanting to stop it. Now, of course, Bitcoin doesn't need permission, right? It doesn't need permission. And so that's the big difference with Bitcoin. Now, I'll leave you with this interesting quote that I love. And I've used this in a video before. And basically it's from Mayer Rothschild. If you guys know who the Rothschilds are, they're the family that supposedly runs the world. They've controlled the world for the last, 300-400 years. And Mayer Rothschild was famously quoted by saying, "Give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." You don't care who makes the laws. If I can control the money, so think about that. Think about Facebook, and they want to control the money. Who cares about who controls the laws, right? It's pretty amazing. Now, there's a lot of research that went into this. I'm gonna put some links down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up on it and leave me your comments. Let me know, is Facebook Libra good or bad? Just put good or bad in the comments. I wanna know. Give me a thumbs down if you don't like the video, but leave me a comment so I know. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the bell so you can make sure to get my notifications. This was a special presentation brought to you because so many people asked for it. Check back Thursday. We have a really big video coming out that everyone has been asking for. It's gonna be exciting. And that's it. To your success. I'm out.